I've been a fan of video games for about 14 years now. It's been amazing. Video games have a tendency of continuing their legacy by producing more installments and making these editions relevant with the basic format. In other words, original video game masterpieces excel to become franchises. Everyone has their favorite franchises, so why not hear someone else's? I was going to save this one for later, but I figured I'd knock it out. Quick disclaimer, odds are you'll see plenty of Nintendo franchises on here. Sorry, but you're going to have to deal with it. Alright, let's get this started. Starting off this list and just barely making the cut, we have the blue blur himself, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now I'm sure many of you are surprised to see this so low on the list, but I digress. This fast-paced series of games has been with me ever since the purchase of my Dreamcast. If you want fast-paced, mind-melting action, the Sonic series is definitely for you. My favorite entries in the series are Sonic CD, Sonic Colors, and Sonic Unleashed. You'll find out what order later. While they are not the best games I've ever played, I'll tell you one thing, these games have some of the most kick-ass musical scores you will ever hear.
I see it, and now it's all within my reach. Possibility. I see it now. It's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free. And it's possibility.
Many fans believe Sonic's been dead for years. I say, just give him some time. He's already coming back. Keep on trucking, Sonic. You're not dead to me yet.
Hi! Oh, shit!
To be quite frank, Kirby and his series have been very good to me over the years. You may share the same thoughts as IGN and say that this series is strictly for kids. Well, as I see it, the series is for everybody. Quite literally. The concept of the Kirby platformers is simply ingenious. Being able to take the special power of whoever you choose is awesome, and it really gives the series new and fresh ideas every time a new installment comes around. My favorite in the series still remains Kirby 64, with Squeak Squad and Return to Dreamland close behind. I don't know why, but whenever I play these games, I feel so energetic. Believe me when I say this, but you are not a man until you played Kirby. Trust me, you'll be able to feel it once you start.
Doesn't it feel wonderful? Like flying a kite in a burning poppy field!
As everybody knows, I side with the big N for the majority of experiences. But for a quick second, let's give the other two a chance. First off, Microsoft. What have they done right? Absolutely nothing at all. Now, what about Sony? While most of their exclusive series are tolerable, they did get one series right.
Space. It's huge. So huge, in fact, that if you lost your car keys in it, they would be almost impossible to
You realize this ship has an ejector seat, right?
Sorry?
Hell to the yes! Ratchet and Clank. This series is the sole reason I gave the PS2 and 3 a chance. That is saying something. To be quite honest, I can't really find anything wrong with this series. The characters are colorful and entertaining, the visuals are gorgeous, the music is beastly, and it's home to some of the greatest weapons ever. My favorite in the series is A Crack in Time, as it felt the most cinematic and adventurous. Not to mention, it gave Clank a much more important role, which is something I highly commend. Without a doubt, the greatest game Sony has ever made.
Hello, everybody! It's me, Mario! Woohoo!
Everyone's favorite plumber has to be on a list like this. He has to. The Mario series is the best-selling and most gargantuan series of games ever, selling over 300 million units and expanding approximately 220 games. That's downright unbelievable. In addition to its colossal success, the Mario series has just about every genre imaginable within it. platforming, sports, racing, party, puzzle, RPG, and even action exploration. No matter what genre it is, Nintendo makes sure that every installment is a masterpiece. And they do just that. Even though this series is home to my favorite video game of all time, there are still 6 more franchises that have had an overall bigger impact on me. But nevertheless, this is a series in which everyone can love. Thanks for digging us out of the pits of despair, my good friend. It's very much appreciated.
It's my pleasure.
Remember how I said my favorite non-Nintendo series was Ratchet and Clank? Well, I lied. By far, my favorite non-Nintendo series is Spyro the Dragon. Oh god, I love Spyro. This truly is an underrated series of games. Whenever I play one of these games, I truly do feel immersed in a fantasy world, probably more so than any other series. While I am truly sad that Spyro is no longer with us, I am still loyal to his series. While many fans believe the PS1 entries were the best of the best, I see otherwise. The original 3 were great, Enter the Dragonfly was fantastic, but A Hero's Tale is God. The environments were perfect, the humor was on par, the gameplay was vast and incredible, the game is huge, the music was stellar, and oh my god, I love this game. This series is just a massive, nostalgic, and dare I say, magical experience. This series takes me back to my childhood, where everything was perfect. How I'll miss you, my dear friend. Pokemon. You bet your ass I love this series. It's just downright incredible. Pokemon is one of the most expansive, most popular series in not just video games, but in all media. Not to mention, it also dominates the handheld market by a long shot. The customizable mechanics in this series is one of the reasons why it's so successful. You can choose your gender, your name, what Pokemon you want, how powerful they end up becoming, you can name your Pokemon anything you want, it has legendary music, so much to do, and a huge amount of replayability. It has everything I like in an RPG, and best of all, no Sephiroths. The only small downside is that you can only hold 6 Pokemon at a time.
6? Only 6?
But this is still a series I can play for hours upon hours upon hours, making it one of my favorite video game franchises ever. The Legend of Zelda is one juggernaut of a series. It's been revered ever since 1986, and for good reason. It's one of the most definitive adventure series imaginable. In every installment, you are given the freedom of exploring the vast lands presented by the developers. On the quest of vanquishing evil, you truly feel like a hero, and as a result, you might end up learning a few life lessons. The feelings you get from these games are highly expansive. From the heroic deeds accomplished throughout Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time, to the mature nature and beauty of Majora's Mask, to the adventurous exploration of Wind Waker. This series literally has something for everyone, which is exactly why it's praised so much. I don't blame the fans for calling this the greatest series ever. It truly is one of the greats. Who could forget the Blue Bomber? Megaman is a series that I think deserves more praise, from both Capcom and the consumers. I really don't hear anyone talk about this series. Ever. Sure, some might claim that it's too frustrating, and that the voice acting is putrid, but I say, why the hell is that important? It may not be anything spiritual, but I'd say this is the greatest platforming series ever conceived, even more than Mario. This is a series in which your skills are the only thing that you can rely on. There's no luck whatsoever. It's just you and the game. That's it. This series is also home to some of the greatest characters you will ever see, such as X, Zero, and Bass. These three characters are all tortured souls, especially Zero. He's like a mix of Obi-Wan and Bowser. He's been destroyed many times, he's seen many of his friends killed, usually by himself, and he stops at nothing to keep the peace. What I'm trying to say is that this series is more than what it seems. It's a challenging, action-filled, emotional, and unforgettable experience. If there's no Megaman, I could care less about Capcom's numerous other franchises. Listen to me, Capcom. The fans do care about Megaman. If you don't get that through your thick skulls, you'll be going just like Rare did. Down the shitter. I'm sure you all were aware that I'm a huge Metroid fan, but not this much. To clear things up, I'll say it right now. Metroid is the greatest adventure series ever. For all those who have never gotten into the series because of the infamous backtracking, that sucks for you, because you're missing out on some of the greatest games in history. The atmosphere that these games envelop are amazing, and even horrifying at times. The amount of things you will encounter on your journey is unfathomable, and the boss battles are some of the greatest you will ever encounter. From the chilling, realistic feel of Metroid Fusion to the sheer amazement of Metroid Prime, no matter what the installment, it's guaranteed to be a breathtaking and cinematic experience. This series is borderline perfect. I can only think of one greater.
We're gonna break through that fleet!
That is correct. My favorite video game franchise of all time is Starfox. I have no idea why, but out of all the franchises on this list, Starfox has had the greatest impact on me. It introduced me to video games and left me captivated and wanting more. No matter what platform it's on, the Starfox game that's on that specific console is my favorite. Starfox on the Super Nintendo, one of the best on there. Starfox 64, hands down my favorite N64 game. Adventures and Assault combined, I prefer them even over Metroid Prime. Starfox Command, if it didn't have a time limit, I'd say it's my favorite on the DS. And Star Fox 64 3D. While it's a remake, my favorite game on the 3DS. The characters in Star Fox are some of the most memorable ever, the soundtracks are incredible, the gameplay is more addicting than Dr. Mario, and still stands up today, and this series is my childhood. And it will forever be my favorite video game franchise ever.